All right, folks, our next guest has a background in finance and education. He's running for president of the United States as a Republican. His platform centers around restoring the middle class and uniting our country. Joining us right now, and we've talked to him several times before and always enjoy doing so, Steve Laffey. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
That's right. Well, Mr. Laffey, we've had you on the show before, and we've enjoyed talking to you, but I want to focus on something that is important to you that Bob mentioned, again, restoring the middle class and uniting the country. Simple words, but a very ambitious plan. How do you intend to do that?
Well, one, the middle class was destroyed over three issues. The public schools starting in '62, and then really rapidly under Carter to today. What happened with our trade with China and giving away manufacturing jobs and the Federal Reserve. So we got to go back to those three issues. One would be to get people out of these public schools, get everybody in the country a voucher. I know the president can't do it personally, but be a cheerleader for that. Two, we must stop trading with communist China. I wrote a book about it, and I made a movie in 2011 about this topic, and I've been proven right. They will not become a democracy, rather a tyranny through our trade with them. And the Federal Reserve has to be changed completely by legislation. No more dual mandate, simply keep inflation at zero. It's inflation that is the biggest contributor to destroying the middle class. In fact, since January of 2020, the average $100 that you went out to buy stuff for is now $122, and you have $107 if you're one of the 58% of Americans who are working paycheck to paycheck. So these are the things that have to happen. Those are the things that I will do by legislation. And the fourth one is really to run on the third rail of getting Social Security back and fixed and modernized so that young people get a lot more and old people get what we say that we're going to get them. Will it be expensive to do so at the beginning? It will, but 15 years into it, will our middle class be expanded? Yes. And when you look at both sides of the aisle, rather than complaining about Donald Trump or this or that, or hating the Democrats, that's what I think Americans will unite about, restoring it was when I was as a little kid in 1967.
Yeah, and you're a business guy, Steve. How do you get the economy going to the pace that you had back in the 60s to get people believing again, by the way, in free enterprise and not expect to just get money handed to them from the government?
One, you go out and explain to people the way that John F. Kennedy said we're going to put a man on the moon. You go and give speeches about it. And two, make everybody realize this one glaring statistic. When the debt to GDP got above 90% anywhere in the world, the growth rate will go down. And people know when they have too much debt, they can't think straight. They know that the federal government has too much debt. So we will have to put in a Swiss debt brake that they did 20 years ago in Switzerland. And we'll have to do it such that each year we'll be bringing that debt to GDP down and balancing the budget over a business cycle by legislation. Don't let anybody out of the box, Bob and Katrina. They have to be for this. So we need to get debt to GDP down below 70% one day, but by law below 80%. That's a law through legislation that must be passed. And that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, just to make clear, our current GDP, debt to GDP ratio is around 125%, 130%, just to let folks know.
Yeah, Steve, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Just wanted to switch gears a little bit. Of course, you're running for president as a Republican, but are you anticipating that you will be part of the upcoming GOP debate next week in Milwaukee?
No, when I started the campaign, I based some hopes on being part of the debates if it was much like 2011 or 2015. But because of the constraints the Republican National Committee put in, which are artificial constraints that I simply won't abide by, I am not going to have a blind loyalty or lie about it the way Chris Christie's lying about it right now. He's not supporting Donald Trump if he becomes the nominee, yet he's going to sign the pledge. And he makes statements like Donald Trump lied about it in 2015. This is the whole thing. It's okay to lie if someone else lied, I guess. I won't do that, nor was I willing, by the way, and I'm really a fiscal conservative. You look me up. This is what I do. I run only balanced budgets. I have no personal debt. I'm wearing American-made clothes. I drive American-made cars. So I was never going to attempt to spend a minimum of $800,000 of my investors' money or my own money to get 40,000 $1 contribution. That seems to be beyond the pale, and it seems to be illegal. Three candidates are trying to make it that way. I would never do that.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Wish we had more time. Steve Laffey, thanks so much for being with us. And again, good luck with your campaign.